Good morning YouTubians, it's Comics Ghost. It's a bank holiday Monday, it's a Blu-ray release day. You know exactly what I'm going to be doing. Heading up to HMV, showing you what I picked up at the end, grabbing a coffee in between. And I've also got a parcel to show you as well. If you remember, arrived last week from Imprint Films in Australia. I'll be unboxing that, showing you exactly what's inside. But let's head up to the town now. It's a beautiful day here on the south coast on this beautiful bank holiday. So let's head up into the city and see what HMV has on its shelves. I'll see you all in a little bit. Now this is what I love about coming out first thing in the morning, especially on a bank holiday. Very quiet, hardly anybody around. Beautiful day today, blue skies. It's a bit windy though. Right, time for coffee. Okay, so coffee shop complete. The first title to show you is Hallelujah. It's a drama put out by Warner Brothers and it's based on a play by Alan Bennett, and this stars a whole host of British actors. Available on Blu-ray for $14.99 as well as DVD for $9.99. There is no 4K for this movie today, and the Blu-ray comes with a slipcover. And the next title is Cocaine Bear. This is available on all formats. It's a horror directed by Elizabeth Banks, and it is $14.99 on Blu-ray and HMV. I say that because Amazon are asking £22.82 for their Blu-ray, $9.99 for the DVD, and last but not least is the 4K, priced at $24.99, and this one comes with a slipcover. It carries a 15 certificate. Next is WWE WrestleMania 39 featuring John Cena, Austin Theory, Logan Paul, Seth freaking Rollins, and many more. Total runtime on this is a whopping 7 hours 18 minutes, and it's yours for $19.99. Conquest of Everest next. This is a documentary from 1953 which features the first climbers to reach the peak of the tallest mountain on Earth. This is narrated by Meredith Edwards. It's got a runtime of 78 minutes. Over in the 88 film section now, we have Code of Silence, a crime thriller from 1985 starring the main man himself, Chuck Norris, as Sergeant Eddie Cusack. And he's a cop up against a corrupt department and gang war. This is priced at $16.99. Next is Close. This is a coming-of-age drama set in Belgium about two teenage boys with a very close friendship, which causes issues when noticed. This has a runtime of 104 minutes and it's $14.99. Next is the classic comedy The Nutty Professor. This 4K release stars Jerry Lewis as Professor Julius Kelp, who conjures up a potion to rid him of his inhibitions. Alcohol companies have been doing that for years. This is priced at $19.99. Over in the anime section now, and we have Summer Ghost. This is a Japanese animated short film which has a runtime of 40 minutes that speaks of a spirit girl who will appear when fireworks are ignited. This is yours for $14.99 or $16.65 from Amazon. Hey everybody, welcome back. Well, there's quite a bit to show you. There's two box sets from Imprint Films and there's two new releases, so a total of 11 films to get through. So it's going to take me a long time. It's going to be a long conclusion. Let's crack straight on with it. So I'm going to start off with this Tales of Adventure Collection 1. And before I get cracking on this box set, I want to say a huge thank you to Imprint Films for sending this my way to review on my channel. Growing up in the 70s, watching these adventure films was always a treat. Sword and Sandal films always felt really exotic, very far away, almost like it was a different world altogether. Let me just say, completely different to the council estate I grew up in Bristol anyway. No doubt I would have seen these films. They never failed to entertain me, but I would have seen these films back in the 70s, but what, that would have been like 40 plus years ago. So very happy to open this and rewatch these films, these tales of adventure. I also want to point out as well that most of these films, well, all but one, are exclusive and they are world first. The Arabian Nights 1942 film is available in the USA, but none of the other films in this box set are. So let's crack this open and take a look inside. Well, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I love that hinged opening, just absolutely fantastic. And these box sets are so sturdy. Look at the artwork there on the back there, if you can, if the glare's not too much. That is beautiful. And so is the original poster work there. You've got the title on the top and on both sides. Tells you all the list of films on the side, and you've got some technical specs on the bottom as well. Nice and sturdy. This is probably the sturdiest box on the market. fantastic. But let's have a look at the films individually. Almost forgot to mention, you do have this peel away information card. I usually just pop it inside when I've peeled it off to reveal that lovely artwork. So let's pop that in there like that and take a look at the movies. Okay, the first film out of the box set is Arabian Nights. This is an adventure film from 1942 based on the book 1001 Nights, and it is directed by the American-born John Rawlins, who actually started out as a stuntman. Now, this was a huge hit for Universal Studios at the time, and the story starts out with a circus that employs both Sinbad, who's played by Shemp Howard from the Three Stooges, and Aladdin, who's played by John Quaylen, who has appeared in over 100 movies. Ali Ben Ali is played by Sabu, who actually passed away in real life at age 39 of a heart attack. He witnesses an attempt on the life of Haroun, and Haroun is played by John Hall. After the failed attack, he is left for dead, and Ali gets help from Shahrazad, who is one of the circus performers who is foretold she will marry a ruler. She is played by Maria Montez, who actually tragically died 9 years later, aged 39 of a heart attack whilst taking a bath, which is quite a spooky coincidence. Haroun is destined to rule the kingdom and presumed dead, and in his place his brother Kamar takes the throne. Kamar is played by Leif Erikson. His men tried to kill Haroun because he desired both the throne and Shahrazad for himself. Confusing but fun stuff, and obviously it all works out in the end. Now, this was the very first time that Universal Studios used a 3-strip Technicolor process. The picture quality I thought was excellent, and it's got a runtime of 1 hour 26 minutes. Let's take a look inside. So they put part of the front cover image onto the disc, and on the reverse of the cover there's an image there of Shahrazad. So that was Arabian Nights. Okay, next title is Desert Hawk, another action adventure sprinkled with a little bit of light humour, made in 1950, also set in Persia, and tells the story of Princess Shahrazad, this time played by Yvonne De Carlo, whose career has spanned 50 years. She's set to marry Prince Murad, who is a nasty piece of work, played by George McCready, but in rides the Desert Hawk, also known as Omar, played by the British actor Richard Green, who's probably best known for playing the role of Robin Hood in The Sword of Sherwood Forest from 1960. Desert Hawk swoops in, see what I did there, after hearing about an upcoming wedding, and he steals all the wedding gifts, and he achieves this by disguising himself as the groom. Now, upon realising this, Prince Murad tries to pin a massacre on the thief as revenge. And again, we've got characters of Aladdin played by Jackie Gleason from Smokey and the Bandit and the Jackie Gleason Show, and we've also got Sinbad as well, played by Joe Besser, who was also a member of the Three Stooges. There's also a character of Captain Raz, played by Rock Hudson, aged just 25. He's just 2 years into his acting career. And the music in this and in Arabian Nights is from Frank Skinner. Not that one. He also did the score for the brilliant movie Man of a Thousand Faces, starring James Cagney. Now, picture quality on this, again, is superb. Colours are vibrant. It's got a runtime of 1 hour 17 minutes. Let's take a look inside. Again, we have an image on the reverse of the cover, and the front cover image has been put onto the disc. So that was the Desert Hawk. Okay, next two movies have been put onto a single disc, which is kind of disappointing, but you know, what can you do? First one is 1001 Nights. This is from 1945. It's a comedy adventure directed by Alfred E. Green, and this one stars Phil Silvers as Abdullah. He's complete with his New York accent. He doesn't try to hide it at all. He's a common thief, generally untrustworthy. He claims that he's 1,200 years old and talks of things not yet invented. Now, his best friend Aladdin, played by Cornel Wilde, is a commoner, and he sneaks into a sedan chair that's passing by, carrying the beautiful Princess Armenia, played by Adele Jurgens. And for want of a better term, he chats her up. Now later, Aladdin finds himself behind bars with Abdullah, but the princess manages to get a key to Aladdin, enabling him to escape to a cave which has got a glowing skull at the entrance. But not just any cave, no, it's the one with the magic lamp inside. Now the genie in this lamp is a woman played by Evelyn Keyes, calls herself Babs, and when released she has a hots for Aladdin, which I did not see coming at all. It's a fun retelling, this one, of a classic story. Phil Silvers is definitely the standout character in this movie. Picture quality, despite being squeezed onto a disc with another movie, is absolutely crystal clear. Colours are very vibrant, the blacks are solid. It's got a runtime of 1 hour 33 minutes. Let's take a look inside. So what they've done is put the 1001 Nights cover on that side and the cover to the next film, Zarak, on the other. And it's a shared image on the disc. So that was 1001 Nights, but now we're going to talk about Zarak. Okay, so the other movie on the disc is Zarak. It's an action flick from 1956 to 1957, depending where you lived, as it was released around about the new year. This film starts off with a forbidden embrace, which I will come back to in just a second. It's set in the 1860s on the frontier of British India and Afghanistan, and a man named Zarak Khan, played by Victor Mature, is caught smooching with his father's wife. Not his biological mother, I will point out. That woman in question is Salma, who's sold into his loveless marriage to his father, played by Anita Ekberg, and the pair swiftly taken away. Zarak is publicly flogged, saved by a passing wise man, and Salma is resold to another sleazebag, but she regains her freedom later in the film. Now, Zarak goes on to form this small group of mercenaries which target English troops, and he becomes a thorn in Major Ingram's side. The Major is played by Michael Wilding, and his wife in this is Kathy, played by Eunice Grayson, and she was a Bond girl, Sylvia Trench, in Dr. No and From Russia With Love. Now, after many encounters, two men develop this mutual respect for each other, which comes into pass actually when Zarak helps rescue the Major from certain death. Picture quality again, very good. There is slight grain during some scenes, but not enough to worry about. Even the external night shots are very clear. This has got a runtime of 1 hour 36 minutes. Let's take a look inside. So there's a Zarak cover, as you saw earlier, and you've seen the disc as well. So that was Zarak. Okay, next and last in this box set is Omar Khayyam. Now, the title character on this 1957 romantic adventure is played by Cornel Wilde, and you might remember he played Aladdin in 1001 Nights. Now, Omar is a polymath. He's knowledgeable in mathematics, astronomy, poetry, and philosophy. It's set 1,000 years ago in Persia, and Omar is charged with designing a new calendar, and he's declared counsellor to the court by the Emperor Shah, played by Raymond Massey. Omar's in love with a woman called Shahrain, played by Deborah Paget. And in a cruel twist of fate, she's offered up to the Shah's next and third wife, much to Shahrain and Omar's disappointment. To keep Omar happy, he's given a chained up slave girl as a gift, Yaffa, played by Joan Taylor, and reluctantly he agrees or she's going to be beaten for rejection. Now, Shah's planning this big battle, and his two sons fight out for the honour of riding next to him, and the loser's mother, Shah's first wife, Queen Zarada, played by Margaret Hayes, wants to kill Shah and her son to rule in his place. So over the years, he's had many assassination attempts made against him. The assassins are trained in this mountainous stronghold, and Omar actually visits there to work on his new calendar. And whilst he's there, he's approached by Queen Zarada, who wants Omar to help get rid of Shah. Picture quality in this is overall very clear, but I did notice a lot of damage on the film. Scratches in places, a lot of grain. I think it adds to the charm though. Colours are vibrant. It's got a runtime of 1 hour 40 minutes. So let's take a closer look inside. So there's an image there of Shahrain taking a dip in the pool, and what you can't see off to the left is Omar lurking in the tree watching her. And there is an image on the disc. So that was Omar Khayyam. Okay, so this box set will obviously appeal to a certain audience. It's not going to be to everybody's taste. If you'd like this kind of movie, then I would recommend this wholeheartedly. I know putting two films on one disc is a bugbear. It is of mine, but it didn't do the quality any harm at all. And I'm going to keep all the films in this box set as well, so it's not going to be a massive issue. Probably the best these movies will ever look, and presented in this beautiful sturdy box as well. And the cover, they're all the original poster art, which is a really nice touch. There are audio commentaries on all the films except for the ones that are squeezed onto the double disc. I did listen to the one Omar Khayyam, and it's very detailed. It's from the film historian Philippa Berry, it was just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So I highly recommend this box set. Okay, next one to show you is the Gidget box set. It's the Gidget film collection. This is a world exclusive. First film you can buy separately in America, but if you want the other three titles, then you're going to have to pick this set up from Imprint. I will leave a link down in the description as to where you can do just that. Okay, so I'm going to show you this beforehand. You've got a slip box there. There's the cover. It has the same image. On the back, you've got Gidget from 1959. Gidget Goes to Hawaii from 1961. You've got Gidget Goes to Rome 1963. And you've got in the special features, you've got Gidget Gets Married as a TV movie from 1972. Inside, there are two discs, both just plain black. There's information on the back about the actors and just studio information. And on the back, it does give you a little bit of information about each of the films. And I have watched every single one of these, and I've watched all of the Tales of Adventure collection as well, to give you my honest opinion. Okay, so before I go any further, let me explain the title of Gidget. See, these films are based on a series of books by Frederick Kohner, and they are of his daughter Kathy, or Frances, or Francine as she is in the films. They're set in a time that she grew up in California, around about the birth of the surfing craze. Frederick in the books has a name for his daughter. It's kind of a nickname. It's a hybrid of two words, girl and midget, and that's where you get the name Gidget from.
Okay, first movie is Gidget. It's from 1959, a romantic musical comedy starring Sandra Dee as the title character of Gidget, or Francine if you prefer. And the movie opens up on a song describing Gidget as being 4'3", despite Sandra being 5'4". Gidget is 16 in the movie. Sandra was 17 when they started filming, so pretty close. Her friends look a lot more mature in the film, and they want to go out and find some boys, and they describe this as man hunting, and they all head down to the beach, each one changing into their new swim costume. But Gidget's outfit is a little bit less revealing, and she's not that keen on the idea of attracting the local surfers' attention. She almost drowns pretty soon after getting there, and she's saved by a surfer called Jeffrey, aka Moondoggy, played by James Darren, who comes to her rescue, and so the romance begins, although her naivety does cause issues when she tries to make Jeffrey jealous. James and Joby Baker, aka Stinky in the film, appeared in all the Gidget films, apart from the TV movie Gidget Gets Married. Now, apparently they wanted Elvis for the surfer role, but he was serving in the US Army at the time. It also stars a 36-year-old Cliff Robinson as the Big Kahuna. There are 2 movies on each disc. The picture quality on the film is quite grainy, but more than likely an upgrade on the DVD. I actually enjoyed this movie. I thought it was quite fun. It's got a runtime of 1 hour 35 minutes. Let's take a look inside. So not much to show, it just says Gidget on the disc. So that was Gidget from 1959. Okay, next film which is on the same disc is Gidget Goes Hawaiian. This is a rom-com musical from 1961, set the summer after the first film, with Gidget and Jeffrey's romance now in full bloom at first. Gidget this time around is played by Deborah Wally, who I would say for the most part is very good, and Jeffrey again is played by James Darren. Now the movie starts out with Gidget's parents insisting on taking her on vacation to Hawaii, which is really nice I thought. Her parents this time around played by Jean Marie Donald and Carl Rayner. But Gidget's heart is set on spending the whole summer with her boyfriend, and he doesn't object to her going, and they have this big falling out because she assumes he's not going to miss her. And whilst in Hawaii, she ends up kissing a local surfer called Eddie, so she didn't miss him that much. Eddie's played by Michael Callan, just as Jeffrey actually turns up to surprise her. Her friend Abby is also there with her parents, and she starts spreading rumours about Gidget, making her life a misery because she's got the hots for Eddie as well. Abby is played by Vicky Trickett, who starred in the Three Stooges meets Hercules movie, where she was Diane Quigley. There's also this big mix-up because Gidget thinks that Abby's parents and her parents are swinging. Obviously the whole thing is cleared up for a happy ending. Not in that way. Picture quality here is okay. I've seen better, that's for sure. Most of it is shot in studio, which is good for the most part. Some outside stock footage is quite grainy and pretty much poor at times. But this is the only way you're going to see this movie on Blu-ray, so it's possibly the best it will ever look. This one's got a runtime of 1 hour 41 minutes. I've already shown the first disc, so I'd move straight on to the next film. Next film on the second disc is Gidget Goes to Rome. This was put out 2 years later in 1963. Title character this time is played by Cindy Carroll, who was 19 at the time, 5'2", so she does look very petite. Couldn't rehire Deborah from the last movie because she was pregnant at the time of filming. This time, Gidget's got a heart set on visiting Rome. Now, at first, her father, Russell, now played by Don Porter, who was actually her father in the TV show, he's not happy with the idea whatsoever. Doesn't want to let it go, but he does hire a chaperone to keep an eye on her, Aunt Albertina, played by Jessie Royce Landis. As well as that, and unbeknownst to Gidget, his old friend, a magazine writer called Paolo, played by Caesar Danova, who's got a passing resemblance to Cary Grant. And actually in the film, one of Gidget's friends does point this out. Jeffrey, aka Moondoggy, is back, played by James Darren, and like the other films, Gidget is hard work in this. Her immaturity and knack for getting things complicated bubbles to the surface, and she falls for the much older Caesar, 20 years older than her, and she does have a boyfriend, but to be fair, Jeffrey is just as bad. He flirts with a local girl called Daniela. All the tourist sites are used in the movie. Trevi Fountain, which actually needs cleaning in the movie, and the Colosseum. They all look very beautiful though. The odd song is thrown in and everything works out in the end. Another enjoyable, harmless family film. Gotta say, I'm actually enjoying these movies. This one's got a runtime of 1 hour 43 minutes. Picture quality was an improvement on the last one. So let's move on to the next and last film. Okay, last movie on the second disc from 1972. It's a TV movie called Gidget Gets Married, noted as being an extra in special features, and it's presented in 4:3. And in the movie, we've got a complete change of cast. We've got Gidget, now played by Money Ellis, and Jeffrey, played by Michael Burns. Gidget's now a teacher of first grade children, and Jeffrey is fresh out of his national service after serving in Saigon. Upon his return, he proposes to a very shocked Gidget. Her father, by the way, now is Russell Lawrence, who's played by Donald McCready, who has a very strong resemblance to an aged Walt Disney. After the wedding, they moved to Florida, ironically, and Jeff starts working for an engineering company called Worldwide Dynamics. Wasn't that in Fringe? I could have sworn that was in Fringe. It's a skill he was taught in the army. Now, their new home is situated in a community called Woodlake, which is part of 3 communities owned by the company that furnishes the houses, which doesn't sit well with Gidget because you can't put a own stamp on it. Jeff's boss is Otis Ramsey, played by Don Amici, and he isn't a pushover by any means. And he also works on the city council, which I mentioned because Gidget protests as the jets fly over her house and she wants them banned, and the jets belong to Otis's company, which can actually put Jeff on the wrong side of his boss. These movies started out as surfer films, but the last 2 have little to nothing to do with the pastime at all. Not that I'm complaining, I did enjoy all these movies, although this is the weakest of the 4. Picture quality on this is also an improvement on the last film. Very good considering it is a TV movie from the early 70s, and it's got a runtime of 1 hour 14 minutes. Let's take a look inside. Well, I showed you the first disc, so I'm going to show you the second disc. There's the 2 films squeezed onto it. So that was the Gidget film collection. I've never seen any of these before, never even heard of the character of Gidget, so that was a nice surprise. I enjoyed each and every one of these films. I thought they were a lot of fun, a lot of harmless fun. So thank you to Imprint for sending me those to review. I really do appreciate it. Okay, so on to today's releases, and the first one to show you is Hallelujah. This is a Warner Brothers release from last year. It's a drama directed by Richard Eyre. Now, in case you're unaware of his films, he directed actually one of the stars in this film on 2 occasions. First one was Iris, the other one Notes on a Scandal, and that of course is Dame Judi Dench. Now in this, she is a resident of a hospital which also houses permanent residents, and it's geared towards caring for the elderly, and the hospital is called the Beth, and it's in Yorkshire. And this, by the way, is based on a play written by Alan Bennett. Now, alongside Dame Judi Dench, you've also got David Bradley from Game of Thrones to Harry Potter. You've got Sir Derek Jacobi, who's been, well, he's been in everything from Tomb Raider to Hamlet. And you've also got the comedian Jennifer Saunders, who's appeared in the latest Agatha Christie film, The Death on the Nile, and the TV show Friends, and many more things as well. And in this, Jennifer is playing Sister Alma Gilpin, who is up for an award because of her excellent care towards her patients. And a news crew's being brought in to document the occasion. However, there's a subplot going on involving, and this has put a few people on edge, involving unexpected deaths on the ward for the elderly. And it's got a runtime of 99 minutes. Let's take a look inside. So the slipcover and the cover has exactly the same image, and it is a plain blue disc. So that was Hallelujah. Okay, so next and last is Cocaine Bear. This is a black comedy horror from the actor turned director Elizabeth Banks, and this is her 3rd feature film, and it's got a very simple premise. This one is very loosely based on actual events. It's about a bear just going about doing its bear business when all of a sudden a plane carrying large amounts of cocaine sheds some of its load. The bear finds it, it consumes it, some of it, and as a result it becomes very agitated and extremely aggressive, and it kills every person who's stupid enough to be in the same vicinity. In reality, the actual bear did consume some cocaine, but it died shortly afterwards, and it killed no one at all. So you can see just how loosely based it really is. This stars both the late Ray Liotta as well as Kerry Russell, whom I had the privilege of meeting a few years ago. You may remember her from Mission Impossible 3 and Rise of Skywalker. Music in this is from Mark Mothersbaugh, who has worked on the Thor Ragnarok film as well as the theme tune for A Town Called Eureka and Sliders as well, amongst other things. It's got a runtime of 95 minutes, this one. Let's take a look inside. So we have the front cover image put onto the disc, and quite unusual, you have an alternate cover. So that was Cocaine Bear. So that was it, probably for about 3 weeks when I come back. Have you seen any of those? Plan to pick them up, or just want to leave a comment? And do so down below. I will read every single one and try to reply if I have the time. Give the video a thumbs up, really does help the channel, and subscribe if you haven't. It's all free, why wouldn't you? On that note, all it's left to say is thank you so much for choosing my channel today and watching my video. Take care. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.